to This Week in Agriculture, a presentation of the Communications Unit, Ministry of Agriculture. I'm your producer and host, Christopher Holder. On this week's edition, we bring you highlights of the visit to Linden by Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa. In that meeting, he spent time with residents of 3 areas of the mining town and listened to the problems of the residents there, mainly to do with drainage and irrigation, which, according to residents there, was neglected badly over the past years. And so they find themselves in a situation where whenever it rains, it floods. And most of the times water is a problem, whether it's too much water or too little water. The Agriculture Minister has made a number of interventions which have already gotten underway in terms of alleviating some of the problems those farmers in those 3 areas of the mining town are experiencing. Now, the problems associated with the particular areas that will be showcased in this program does not negate the interventions happening in all the farming areas of Linden. These were just the areas that the minister touched, and there was representation from those other communities in which agriculture plays a major part. Issues relative to cash crops, to livestock, farmers were able to vent those issues. The whole issue of agro-processing in the mining town came to the fore, and again, Minister has ordered a number of interventions which have already begun and will be taking place over the coming months, so as to ensure that the stage is set for agriculture to take off in the mining town. It is common knowledge that most of the livestock or the meat products coming to the markets of Linden are from out of town. Canters and trucks go into the mining town and sell chicken and other meats, and they sell at such a price as to make it non-competitive for the farmers of Linden to vend their meats to the residents. But these are all issues that are going to be ironed out later on, as promised by the Agriculture Minister. So we will be back after these messages with this week's edition of This Week in Agriculture. It is a given that in addition to any exposed part of your body, the clothing worn during pesticide application will be contaminated with whatever chemicals you are using. All pesticides are dangerous to human health, even those persons exposed indirectly. Always wash clothing used in chemical application separately. A message from the Pesticides and Toxic Chemicals Control Board, Ministry of Agriculture. The control of red rice through careful management of water levels in your rice field for the first 40 days is critical to your yield at the end of the crop. Water acts as an agent to control red rice and even other grass weeds at a depth of 4 inches. With proper land preparation and leveling established, maintaining a light flood continuously until the canopy is fully developed will suppress red rice establishment. Leaving the land exposed for any length of time will give weeds an ample chance to germinate and infest the field. Panicle cutting should be done prior to shattering. The second cutting exercise should be conducted at 20 days to control panicle regrowth. Water management is one of 3 critical interventions for the effective control of red rice. A message from the Guyana Rice Development Board, Ministry of Agriculture.
Here's an important notice. Do you know that it is illegal to import, store, distribute, sell, and purchase antibiotics without a license or prescription, as the case may be? According to the Antibiotic Act of 1952, owners of livestock and other animals are not permitted to purchase and use antibiotics unless prescribed by a veterinarian. It should be noted that the misuse of antibiotics could result in the development of resistance to the very antibiotics, which in turn turn will pose health risk to the animal and to humans. The GLDA advises that farmers should not administer antibiotics to animals unless prescribed by a veterinarian. Non-compliance with this act will result in fines and imprisonment. A message from the Ghana Livestock Development Authority, Ministry of Agriculture.
Coconut farmers across Guyana are invited to visit Hope Estate for top quality coconut seedlings in any quantity. Now available are 5, 3, and 18-month varieties. It should be noted that the spacing of your coconut seedlings is determined by the variety you are planting. Persons interested in purchasing seedlings may make contact with Hope Estate on telephone numbers 256-0599 or 663-2709. A message from the management of Hope Estate, Ministry of Agriculture. Agriculture in the mining town of Linden is being given a shot in the arm as major drainage and irrigation works are now underway after an outreach to the agriculture areas of the town by Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa. The outreach to the town of Linden forms part of ongoing efforts by the Agriculture Minister to meet with farmers across the country to learn firsthand the challenges facing their communities and offer immediate and long-term solutions to those problems. The communities of West Watuka, Nottinghamshire and Bamia were those in which the minister met with residents and farmers for face-to-face interaction. At West Watuka, the minister, accompanied by Director General of the Ministry of Agriculture, Mr. Madan Lal Ramjag, and the heads of several key agencies, heard about the issues facing the community. These included neglected and clogged up D&I structures that has been resulting in flooding during the rainy season and lack of irrigation water in dry seasons. There were several other issues raised by farmers.
If you could just walk the canal and see what's going on, I don't know, I did the right thing, the condition, the smell of the water and everything, the place should wash and sleep. And until now, the canal ain't clean as yet. It's disgusting, we don't have pipe in there, not depending on the rain for giving the water to drink and drink. I still scratching it. All the canals need to go in. All the road, all the snake come out in the night. Yeah. And no canal ain't clean as yet.
My name is Leroy. The West say we need a lot of helping out, man. One of the main things I as a farmer need is water into the place, and we need a tractor and a little baku, a tractor with plow and a little baku. So himself, you get this place by one location, people got to pay a little fee for it to get the work done, or because I didn't get the roads them for going to my farm finish as yet. Since last year, before the last, there was to come and do a new setting up of the drains and everything and the roads them to go to have access. I just have to take access to a next farmer part to get to my part. And I feel that these things supposed to be done in a long time because over 20 years I did. These things supposed to be done in a long time. And the land them need plowing because the land them sour, right? And you check the whole of Linden, we don't have a tractor with plow to do these work.
My name is Robert Gomes, the chairman of West Watuka Front CDC Group. Now in the previous years, before the previous government, the PPP government, I was a foreman for the DNI in West Watuka. And we used to upkeep all from the bridge to the forest canal, that is where the residential area stop. We used to upkeep all those drains and things, carpets, whatsoever, you name it. And since the previous government, that this government take over from right now, take over, a lot of stupidness been going on. The people who is in the DNI, they don't work inside there no more, they work out on the road. So all the drains for the residential area need cleaning. I'm talking about this road here. This road needs restructuring because one way in, one way out. From the bridge to where the farming area stop, the whole road need reconstructed. Because sometimes you get heavy machine coming in the area, people take off their backhoe from in front of the bridge and they walk it in, and all these machines, the tracks that they destroy the road. Now, there's a lot of infrastructure work needs to be done in West Utuka here, and it can't happen in one day. But groups need, all like the CDCs, I think the government, we're signing through the court system now, so you can afford to like get small contracts and these things within your communities.
I'm from the Christianburg area. And I'm into livestock. I got a few sheep and I got a few cattle there. We've gotten this pasture problem, land for pasture. Right? And you have to see if you can look into that. Right? Because up to Saturday night, somebody come in my yard there and keep out a young heifer. You understand? And carry it and tie it in Bokong area there. But good luck that I'm going to get it back before the slab.
Okay. Well, I'm from Victory Valley area. And I got some flooding that's that place, and it's my pigs. About 3 weeks ago, I had a flooding and lose 25 piglets. I applied for land, and I can't get it again.
In responding to the issues raised by farmers here, Director General of the Ministry of Agriculture, Mr. Madanlal Ramjag, spoke of the development of a strategic plan for agriculture in Guyana.
As we are speaking here today, we are also developing an agriculture strategy that will take us from 2021 to 2025. That strategy includes things like food nutrition, agricultural development, diversification, and a number of issues, climate smart agriculture, and a series of issues that are facing the agriculture sector. We have heard a lot today about drainage and irrigation. This also forms part of our strategy to ensure that we are able to have agriculture done in a very smart way so that we can ensure the livelihood of farmers and the increased productivity, as it were. Today with us also, we have across, straight in front of me here, Ms. Lal from the new GMC, who is moving around the country to look at farmers' produce and to develop the kind of relationship with farmers so that we can have farmers export their products to ensure that they are ready and steady market for farmers.
In his address to the farmers of West Watuka, Agriculture Minister Mustafa stressed the government's commitment to the development of agriculture in all areas, in every region of the country, and is ensuring equity in the distribution of resources for infrastructure development across the board. The minister, however, indicated that while his ministry will tackle emergency needs within the community, the major projects and interventions for the maximization of the agriculture potential of Linden will be catered for in the 2021 national budget, work for which is already advanced. Minister Mustafa stressed that the business of agriculture under his government will be one in which farmers will get help at every step of the way, provided with the technical and other support through the various agencies of his ministry.
And if you look around here this morning, you have almost all the senior officers within the Ministry of Agriculture. They are here this morning. They are here because of the priority we have placed in the agriculture sector. And I am taking this very seriously because we have to develop the sector. Not so long ago, in a few months, 6 months ago, everything you talk, you hear wait until the oil and gas revenue come on stream. Wait until the oil and gas revenue come on stream. We can't wait for the oil and gas revenue, although we have. And we didn't use none money as yet. No money have been used from that account, that oil and gas revenue. We have to develop this sector because you as the farmers, you're not going to get oil and gas on your farm. You have to produce, and we have to play the facilitating role as the government. That is why we are here this morning, to help you, and we will help you. I want to assure you as Minister of Agriculture, we will help you, and we will help all the farmers in this country. So, as I said, we have heard. I want to say, and in the emergency budget we have created, and we have passed, we have some funds for Linden. As a matter of fact, not for Linden alone, but we have funds in the Ministry of Agriculture, and we'll utilize it. Now, in Nari, we have budgeted for $15.8 million. We'll be purchasing shade house material. We'll work along with farmers, because in Guyana today, with the unpredictability of the weather condition, with climate change, we have to now do agriculture in a smarter way, in a better way. Rather than you heard the comrade talk, she has to ensure that she wait on the irrigation water, the water on the drain. So she has to wait on rainfall. And we can't predict sometimes the rainfall now. Rain does fall anytime in this country. We get very unseasonal rainfall. So what we have to do, we have to prepare our farmers, we have to encourage our farmers, and we have to learn our farmers to farm in a smarter way. That is why we and the technical people that have been working, they have put aside, and we have budgeted, and we have in our budget $15.8 million from NARI, where we will purchase shade house material. We will sell these shade house material at a minimal cost to farmers. We will help the farmers to set up their shade house, and also help them, advise them to farm. So what we'll do, the money that we'll receive from this shade house material that we'll sell to the farmers at a minimal cost, we'll put it in a revolving fund so that we can continue supply to farmers at a minimal cost these shade house materials and help them to build shade house so that they can plant in a more smarter way. So you could take advantage, you could contact NARI. NARI is rolling out this project. Contact my office, and we'll try to facilitate you. We are also putting effort in the livestock industry. You have two senior officers from the livestock industry here, Dr. Halley, who is the CEO, and Dr. Waldron, the deputy CEO. They are here this morning to work along with the livestock sector. You had some issue about pasture land for the farmers. You had some issue about flooding where the comrade Piglet died. They will work along with you all and see what we can do. So they have been making notes on these things. You have the pesticide and toxic control head here, Miss Tricia David. She is here. You need advice on those chemicals, and you need advice on any pesticide, she can advise you. We have here the new GMC head, Miss Trishana Lal. And we are working to revamp the policies of the new GMC. We are farmers, we are trying to create a steady and ready market for farmers' produce. Where the GMC, a new GMC, will be working along with different government agencies. See if we can sell the produce, buy the produce from the farmers, sell it back to the agencies like the Ministry of Home Affairs, to the police force, to the Guyana Defense Force, to the health sector, and things like that.
The Agriculture Minister also spoke of a 2021 innovation in which a specialist will be hired to the Minister's Secretariat, whose job it would be to source and secure markets for farmers both regionally and internationally.
In the new year, I will have a specialist in my office looking at the Caribbean to find market for farmers' produce, looking at all the issues that are affecting farmers in exporting to the Caribbean. In the Caribbean, as I said, we can tap into the Caribbean market because the CARICOM, the countries in CARICOM, they are importing annually between 8 to 10 billion US dollars in agriculture produce. And we can tap into that market. It's all we have to ensure that we find the market and we deal with the barriers that are affecting us in exporting to these Caribbean countries. And I will have a specialist dedicated to ensure they look at that so that we can help. The new GMC, as I said, they are looking at their budget now. I have advised them to put in the budget these freezing trucks where we can purchase farmers' produce and sell it back to the various agencies. We are now looking at how we can help farmers also to they package their produce. So it can be in a more value-added way, rather than to sell it, that's how we sell it now. So those are the things, comrades, we are doing.
West Watuka farmers were also reminded of the many interventions that have already been made to ensure that they have more money in their pockets at the end of the day.
What also have been creating an interest is the policies that we have started. We have reversed all the policies that were affecting agriculture in this country. We have reduced land rental back to the 2014 rate. You all remember in 2017 the government would have increased land rental by over 600%. We have reduced it back. So farmers today, and I don't know if you all have been paying here, but other parts of the country, farmers who were paying $1,000 had to pay $8,000 and in some cases $15,000 in some parts of the country. Those farmers will once again pay the 2014 rate of $1,000. We have reversed that. We have reversed the BNI charges. The BNI charges, we have reversed it from $8,000 per acre to $2,500 per acre. So farmers now will have more monies in their pocket. We have take out the VAT. We took out the VAT on agriculture inputs and agriculture machinery. So things like chemical and pesticide and fertilizer, if you would have paid VAT before October the 1st, now you will not be paying any VAT on those. Equipment, spray cans, and those hoses and things like that, you will not pay VAT on anymore. Fishing materials, you will not pay VAT on it anymore. So a whole set of things we took out the VAT on. Agriculture machinery, we took out the VAT from agriculture machinery. So those are the policies we have been implementing so that we can make farming and agriculture more attractive. Because farming and agriculture is one of the main activities in our country. True. And we will continue to develop agriculture, comrades.
Residents were promised immediate interventions on the issues relative to drainage and irrigation.
I have spoken already to the CEO of NDIA, Mr. Flats. He is the head of the NDIA, the CEO. We'll have the chairman, Mr. Lionel, is back with us. And he is the chairman of the NDIA now, and Mr. Flats is the CEO. So what we'll do, we'll have another machine come in this area. I want a machine work here, finish all the canal that the comrade talk about, and also a small machine will do the roadside drain, so that we will clean it and we will not have that issue. What we will do, however, when we award these manual cleaning, we have to ensure that the groups that are awarded are receiving these work, do it to the satisfaction of the community. Because sometimes we award contract and we are not getting work for our money. When I look at the amount of money that have been expended here over the last couple of years, and you put it to the work, I don't think you all should have had any issues that you all raised there just now. But the point is that the money was sure that it expended in Region 10 in maintenance. Hundreds of miles of canal were maintained, according to the report I received. So comrades, we have to ensure that we get value for our money. What we'll also do, in the new year, come January, February, we will start the conservancy right at the back here. So we'll trap irrigation water. $123 million will be expended right here so that you can have regular irrigation to your crop here. Regular irrigation. So that project is at the evaluation stage right now. It's doing at the evaluation stage. It should go to tender board for award. We'll also do another DNI structure for another $50 million right at the back here, so that you will get the benefit. Right? So that's the way we have been working, planning our work to improve farming in our country, improve agriculture in our country.
Since the visit by the Agriculture Minister to West Watuka, work on the improvements to drainage and irrigation in the area has begun and is advancing rapidly under the direction of the National Drainage and Irrigation Board, NDIA. I took my camera back to the mining town and to West Watuka for a look at the work being done. It was clear that the magnitude of the undertaking was enormous. Mr. Roderick Grant is the NDIA engineer overlooking the project, which has started at the backlands of West Watuka.
We are here in West Watuka, in Linden, region number 10. and the National Drainage and Irrigation has responded to a meeting that was held here with the Minister of Agriculture and the farmers of this area. And we have started doing some maintenance to some of the canals and drains in this area. Presently, we have 2 machines working. And as you can see, the machine is clearing 2 of the channels on the dam, which were heavily vegetated for a long period of time. This will result in better drainage, and farmers will have water, sufficient water now for their plants and animals, which they are presently rearing and presently planting.
The area behind these trees is to be made a water catchment reservoir with all accompanying structures to ensure the community has access to irrigation water year-round. During his meeting, the Agriculture Minister had disclosed that some $125 million had been budgeted for this project, and the tenders are about to go out for work and construction of the conservancy to begin early in the new year. The NDIA is also working on the excavation of the roadside drains leading from the proposed conservancy area all the way out to the Wisma Bridge.
This is another aspect of our cleaning. As you can see, the machine here in the background is doing the roadside drains, which is also helping to facilitate the drainage from some of the farming areas in this community. Basically, what he is doing here is trying to do the ones that he can reach. And as the big excavator, which is down at the back, comes out, he will look at the ones that are not reachable by this machine. So both sides of the roads will be looked at, and there will be proper drainage in the area.
This is the drain on the other side of the road. As you can see, this is a massive undertaking.
These drains here that you're seeing in the background, the one that is clean and the one here that is heavily vegetated, are drains that are leading out of West Watuka, and it ends at the entrance by the bridge, the Wisma-Mackenzie Bridge.
Farmers in the area say the work being undertaken is very timely and will allow for critical drainage at this time when the rains are here.
The farm that is normally producing now, we survive on the citrus, the plantain, the coconut, and the normal things, them little boro, okra, and whatever more we could produce. So the drain over here doing a very good job for us, and we thank the government for that.
What are some of the problems you have?
The problem is just was the water. The water is the problem, and they're going to solve now because of the drain that is now there. So we don't got no kind of water. Water that nearly kill the plants them and kill the fruit trees. So that's very good about the government.
Mostly concentrate on citrus. Not too much of coconut, but I think they're going to the coconut thing now because the whole thing looking more long term, right? But the drainage and thing is a very, very nice thing that I see them. I feel the road will be even better than the drain. Because the road is very ugly, you can see how the road stay. When you come in with your vehicle, you download, now you hear squeak. It's not a nice situation, but from what I overheard that they're going to look after all these things, right? Road and drains. Well, I got another farm along the back, so right? I decided to wait there. There's the place that's clogged up with water. The grass tick. And it's a nice thing, man. I just glad if they could do it.
Yes. I'm glad because when I see the machines they passing here, I say, well, we will get a little ease from the flooding. So it's nice.
Well, I think the drainage work is going to be very good for the community people because, for instance, the state yard flood out and the drainage getting flooded out properly. So you see, as the person them who live in low getting a lot of problems. This is going to really help us out a lot. During this rainy weather time, it can help us out a lot.
Drainage works in West Watuka will continue until the entire drainage and irrigation system is restored. NDC Councillor Ms. Sherry has indicated that while the machines make their way to the lands in northwest Watuka, manual clearing of the canals will be undertaken as an interim measure to bring relief to farmers there.
All the canal but then they silt in a long time, especially those at the top where the motion start from, and it has a lot of big trees. So we're grateful because the minister was there and he said he's going to send it in the same week, and he did send the machines them in the week. And so way down to the back that they had a big clouding up causing the flooding is released now. They have even have a farmer, Mr. Lanny Tyson, and he is saying that, with this big rain he had a great release because the machine had started, although the machine and meet to the river as yet. So I know the farmers at the back, way at the back, who couldn't plant at all is grateful, and so the water started pulling off.
Across at Nottinghamshire in Linden, residents and farmers alike shared their problems and humbugs to successful agriculture pursuits.
And my main problem is I do cash crops, and most time when the rain falls, can't plant when the rain falls. So I really would love shade house, and the material is very expensive. And as a group, the community have a farming group. And that was one of our main concerns in the shade house, that most people have the same complaint. And the next thing is drainage.
I'm the chairperson for Nottinghamshire, and our community is having a lot of different issues. We're having land issue, we're having drain issue, we're having we have few of our community members that are doing cattle rearing. And this is a big issue because the cows go into people's yard. A lot of people does not have enough land here to do farming, but the yard space that they have, they utilize in doing cash crops. So whereby now if the cow gets away, there's an issue. The owner of the cattle does not have a place that they could lock up this place, and we would like to, I personally, and also the community members would like to have a place that we could make, like, what do you call it, a paddock? So you could put up the cows, or if no, when you ain't got time for go and graze it and look at it and whatever, that you could lock it up. That's number one. Number two, I just hear Carol mention about the water and the drains, and we're having another flood on that area when the rain falls. The drains are not properly drained, so that's another issue. Another issue we're having, we would like to have our play field. We have a place over there that we get, but we need help.
I'm a resident since I come live in here. I've been looking around for piece of land, but I never get through. Anyway, my sister-in-law gave me a little piece to build a house. And we did there, and I built a nursery, but it's too small, the area too little. So I'm glad if anybody could help me get a piece of land for extending the nursery.
I'm Tansy Gaspar, representing Linden Enterprise Network. I'm not a resident of this area, but like Mrs. Brand, I was tracking the minister down. I miss you at West Utica, hence I decided to come here. Linden Enterprise Network is the successor entity of LEAP. We were established to assist in developing entrepreneurs within the region. For our 2021 plan, currently we are in partnership with Triple C Consultancy, where we are conducting a proposal, preparing a proposal to set up a agro-processing facility. What we recognize, persons coming to the entity for loans, particularly in the agriculture sector, some of them, they have their leases. They want loans to be able to deal with land clearing. Now it's difficult for us, even though our interest rate is very competitive, to be able to lend
to have them do land clearing. If we can have at Linden for the agriculture sector grant facility where persons with agricultural interests, when they come, they can have small grants to be able to use to clear and prepare their lands, because they have lots of persons with leases. So the loan aspect will actually get them into production mode. So the prerequisite, if we can have like a grant facility that deals particularly in agriculture, that will be most welcome and appreciated, since our mandate is not only for Linden but the entire region. As it relates to the agro-processing facility that we're hoping to set up, what we want to do is farmers, we want to be able to be that go-to entity. Farmers can be able to use that facility. In the first phase, we want to look at fruits and vegetables, where they can bring their, like the lady with her 27 cherry trees, she can come and have her cherries being juiced and then be able to bottle, or we can start with just having the small plastics where she can sell her juice. So we're asking for assistance in the grant facility and to be able to set up the agro-processing facility. Thank you.
My name is Tasmin Kibu. I am the owner and manager of Task Foods. If you're going to some of the supermarkets, you'll see me. I do garlic sauce, green seasoning, and pepper. But what I'm mostly known for, and a lot of people don't know, is dehydrated food. I supply the Guyana Defense Force with dehydrated food when they go into the battlegrounds. I'm the person that supplies the foods. I do cook up and I do pasta as well, and we're now looking into doing some ramens. But my problem with that is the technology. I studied at the Guyana School of Agriculture, but it took me to this level. I didn't go further. When I came out, that's when I started doing certain types of research, and I got into dehydrated food. But my problem is the technologies, because to get one of the machines here, I sourced a dehydrator, and it was like $500 US. And when the rainy season started, I got to get about 10 dehydrators. But in China, I can get a really big one for maybe 5,000 US. Now, thinking of that coming into Guyana, when I get to the wharf, the first thing they can watch me and ask me was that. And then somebody can run at the back and start looking. Just be my problem, because if I have to supply 10,000 bags of food, because every bag is 500 grams, if I got to supply 10,000 bags just in August, how am I doing that if the rain decides to do what they want to do? Because you know rain does fall in how it wants, and the food has to be dry in a dehydrator. I have a solar one at my place of business that I do, but that is not big enough. In times when I'm working in August, I employ close to 12 persons to get these things packed, shipped, and ready. But my asking is for, when I go into small business bureau, they say, oh, we get grant, come. 200,000. But can't buy me blender that I used to make the green season. My blender is $350,000. So my thing is this: if you're going to offer me a grant, offer me a proper grant. That's just something that I can work with. Because if I'm going to do 500 bottles of seasoning, if I'm going to do my garlic sauce, if you try my garlic sauce, everybody will tell you it's one of the best. You can't offer me a grant of $200,000 and then you can tell me I gotta get NIS, I gotta get GRA, I gotta get all these compliance. Don't make it so difficult for me. I'm an agro-processor. I'm one of the lucky ones that came out to GSA and got a job right away, doing my own thing, coming back to Linden. I'm thinking about the other persons coming behind me. When they're done at GSA, they ain't got nothing for them coming back to Linden. So if my thing is this: if you're going to help the young ones coming from GSA, let's have a place like she's talking about, having an agro-processing plant where they can go and blend their seasonings, blend whatever, because right away they can't buy a machine. Like I have a young lady working with me, she does juices. She can't buy a blender at $350, and if she go into small business brew, they can say, oh, we got 200. Where's she going to find the rest from? She still got to buy raw materials, she still got to buy bottles, she still got to buy fruits. Let's make it affordable, let's make it easy. And another thing too, when you go into the bank and you sign up the paperwork and you put, oh, you're an agro-processor, the first thing they ask you, who you do? let's make it a common word. That just like how you got teacher, you get lawyer, you get... Let's make it something common. And thank you.
In responding to the concerns raised by the farmers of Nottinghamshire, the Agriculture Minister said he was heartened at the number of women farmers evident in the community and pledged his ministry's support for their efforts.
I myself is very happy to see that we are having so many females coming forward to raise these issues so that we can address it. And this show what I have been talking a few places around that I have visited so far, that we have seen a renewed interest in this sector, the agriculture sector. And I'm glad that I'm here and I'm seeing the female coming forward more than the male, because when we go to these meetings tend to be dominated by male presence and male raising issues. But when you look here this afternoon, the female, they have outnumbered the male, and that shows that here, whenever females are involved in these activities, it shows the importance of these activities and shows that this activity is here to stay. So I will support you. First of all, I want to begin with that. I will support you. Support this area.
Here too, the Agriculture Minister shared with farmers his ministry's initiatives to offer farmers shade house netting to allow for the establishment of shade houses in the community as part of an overall effort to realize climate-smart agriculture. To this end, he explained the shade house material will be available to farmers at cost, but that one complete shade house will be donated by the ministry to the farmers' co-op in the area. Technical support will be provided by NARI in helping farmers get started with shade house farming. He also briefed farmers about some of the initiatives of his ministry.
What we have been doing also too, besides the outreaches that we have been doing as a ministry, we have put some policies in place, and as the young lady from Leap just talked about, we will encourage farmers and we will try to see what we can do in next year's budget so that we can have those kinds of funds, or try to see how we can get those kinds of funds to help small farmers who want to go in agro-processing. From the new GMC, the newer GMC will be back to work along with your organization so that we can work together, form a partnership so that we can help farmers in Linden. We know for a fact that, as I said, our farmers are not so technologically advanced to get their produce in a way that they can export it. They need a lot of help, and we have to extend those help to them, and we'll try to ensure that we give those help. We are encouraging agro-processing in this country, because I have been talking all the time about value-added products. We can't go and sell raw product overseas and intend to get good revenue or get high price for it. We have to package our material, our produce. We have to package it in a way which is attractive and where it becomes more value added. I have been talking about this also in the sugar industry. We can't expect to continue producing raw brown sugar and survive in this world. We have to diversify and produce value added product. And that's the way we have to go in the agriculture sector. So we'll work along with you, we'll work along with LEAP to ensure that we see how we can help you and to help the farmers and form that partnership so that we can work along with, deal with it. Immediately I asked the NDIA to look at the drainage situation in this area. When we finish at that area over there, we'll come here to do work with our machines. And I want to tell you that we will try to complete all the drainage work before we move out from the area so that we can have proper drainage. And Mr. Flats will ensure that he sends his officers here to look at those issues.
Minister Mustafa emphasized that agriculture is here to stay and will be a major supporting pillar to the local economy over the next 5 years, calling for an all-inclusive approach to the development of the sector with all hands on board.
We are doing work, and over the years, over the next 5 years, I think that our country future looks bright. We have to work along with all the groups. All the groups we have to work along with. We have to ensure that everyone come on board. And this thing is not about politics. Let me be very frank with you all. This thing is not about politics. If you look at politics, we're going to divide ourselves and we will not have development in our country. We have to work together as one people to ensure that we develop this agriculture sector. Right? As I said at the last meeting, when you produce, or if I'm an Apnu and I produce, I not only Apnu people eating my produce. There's everybody in the country who I sell to. And same thing, that goes to everyone. So we have to work together, comrade, and I think that we will be doing it. I'll be passing the road issue to Minister of Public Works, but we have been doing some farm to market road. Recently, only in another few days, we will be signing a contract for $327 million to do a farm to market road at Anvoa on the west coast of Borders. I've been looking to see if we could do a farm to market road in our budget next year in Linden, where we can have a massive road done, farm to market, so that you can bring out your produce with ease. So I've been looking at the possibility, which area is best suited for this road, where we have more produce coming out. So I'll be looking at that. I hope that our officers them are taking this kind of, taking the notes. Now this brings me to the issue of land. All the lands that are in Linden falls under NISIL. You know, the previous government would have transferred these lands, the sugar estate land, all under NISIL. So what I will be doing, I will be speaking to the NISIL board, the CEO of NISIL, to ask him to come to Linden to facilitate how these farmers can apply for more land. I was just talking to our agriculture officer, and she advised me that almost all the lands fall under NISIL, not state. The state doesn't have any jurisdiction over the land. That's the Guyana Lands and Survey Commission. Right? I'll be also speaking to the Commissioner of Land and ask him to see where there are lands in Linden, so we can advise the farmers where to apply. I'll be sending back our officers to inform you. So within a week from now, I will ask the Lands and Survey and NISIL what's the procedure and how we can help facilitate the farmers. As long as there are land, we will help you we will recommend you. We as a ministry don't give out land. Lands fall under the Guyana Lands and Surveys Commission, that falls under the Office of the President, and NISIL. So we will try to facilitate and see how we can help the farmers to recommend farmers. So you can expand. You can expand your farm. As long as you expand your farm, then you will have more produce, and we will try also to find market. I will ask our officers to come back and have discussion with you, especially people from the NARI, people from New GMC, and the NDIA. The livestock farmer, Dr. Halley and Dr. Waldron, will be back here. You need any advice on chemical and pesticide, talk to Ms. David. She can advise you, and we will share a hotline number so that you can call us 24 hours a day, and we will respond to your call. So those are the things that we are setting up to ensure that we help the farmers and we work along with them.
At Bamia, a community on the outskirts of Linden, residents spoke of issues relative to access to water for both domestic and irrigation purposes. Land issues in a nearby community of Moblissa were also raised by representatives from that community. Of major concern to residents of Bamia was the Akushi ants, which were wreaking havoc with crops. They requested help acquiring the ant bait that has proven effective against the pest. Here again, the Agriculture Minister committed to networking with his colleagues in the ministries responsible for water and land with a view to having the matters raised and addressed speedily. At all the Linden communities visited, the Agriculture Minister and team shared out a variety of crop seeds to residents free of cost. At Bamia, residents were also given the Akushi ant bait by NARI with a promise of more technical help and support in the future. It is a given that in addition to any exposed part of your body, the clothing worn during pesticide application will be contaminated with whatever chemicals you are using. All pesticides are dangerous to human health, even those persons exposed indirectly. Always wash clothing used in chemical application separately. A message from the Pesticides and Toxic Chemicals Control Board, Ministry of Agriculture. The control of red rice through careful management of water levels in your rice field for the first 40 days is critical to your yield at the end of the crop. Water acts as an agent to control red rice and even other grass weeds at a depth of 4 inches. With proper land preparation and leveling established, maintaining a light flood continuously until the canopy is fully developed will suppress red rice establishment. Leaving the land exposed for any length of time will give weeds an ample chance to germinate and infest the field. Panicle cutting should be done prior to shattering. The second cutting exercise should be conducted at 20 days to control panicle regrowth. Water management is one of 3 critical interventions for the effective control of red rice. A message from the Guyana Rice Development Board, Ministry of Agriculture.
Here's an important notice. Do you know that it is illegal to import, store, distribute, sell, and purchase antibiotics without a license or prescription, as the case may be? According to the Antibiotic Act of 1952, owners of livestock and other animals are not permitted to purchase and use antibiotics unless prescribed by a veterinarian. It should be noted that the misuse of antibiotics could result in the development of resistance to the very antibiotics, which in turn will pose health risk to the animal and to humans. The GLDA advises that farmers should not administer antibiotics to animals unless prescribed by a veterinarian. Non-compliance with this act will result in fines and imprisonment. A message from the Guyana Livestock Development Authority, Ministry of Agriculture.
Coconut farmers across Guyana are invited to visit the Hope Estate for top quality coconut seedlings in any quantity. Now available are 5, 3, and 18-month varieties. It should be noted that the spacing of your coconut seedlings is determined by the variety you are planting. Persons interested in purchasing seedlings may make contact with Hope Estate on telephone numbers 256-0599 or 663-2709. A message from the management of Hope Estate, Ministry of Agriculture. Well, that's all the time we have on this week's edition of This Week in Agriculture, a presentation of the Communications Unit, Ministry of Agriculture. This Week in Agriculture is produced for television by Matrix Video Productions and Advertising, based in East Berbice. I'm your producer and host, Christopher Holder. Until next time then, be good to yourselves and to each other.